So not a whole lot of racing happened this weekend. We had ARCA up in Berlin, Michigan for the yearly race in Berlin. And IndyCar heading out to the Midwest to Road America for IndyCar's own America 250 thing. Well, until they do that race in DC, of course. But yeah, and Lundgaard continues to have his breakout season. But anyway, let's take a look at how racing fared this weekend. So beginning, we have the ARCA race at Berlin Raceway. And this race was mainly the Max Reeves show, as he was the dominant car throughout this race. Even though Thomas and Uziata had a car to compete with him, Thomas just could not keep up with Reeves. And once Reeves got the lead for good with 44 to go, and despite a late race spin from Jason Kitzmiller, Reeves would not be denied, and Max Reeves goes on and gets the win at Berlin Raceway. Well, it's kind of easy for Reeves to win when he has no competition in the field. As even though Thomas and Uziata tried his best to compete, he just was no match for Max Reeves in that JGR car. But yeah, Reeves gets another win in ARCA. Pretty easy to do that when you have no competition, though. Now we move on to the IndyCar race at Road America. And well, I think a lot of fans were looking to check out early in this race, in the early portion of this race when Alex Palou got the lead from pole and dominated the early portions of this race, because everyone's like, oh, what's the point of watching IndyCar on road courses? The races are gonna suck. Oh, it's gonna be just Alex Palou built to ass and beating everyone by 30 fucking seconds. Because road course races the devil and Palou is cheating. Because bad guy win in predictable fashion. And blah, 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 fucking blah. And that was the case. Until about 15 laps in, when Palou would lose the lead on green flag pit stops. And then a caution came out for Romain Grosjean picking a fine time to leave loose wheel. No, that doesn't result in a two-race suspension to the tire changer, because IndyCar isn't strict on that like NASCAR is. And once Palou lost the lead, Palou never got it back after that. So for everyone that just automatically assumed that Palou was going to win the race and dominate the race, this, kids, is why you actually run the fucking races. Instead of jumping straight to fucking conclusions like a bunch of fucking dumbasses. To be honest, I should be having this conversation more with NASCAR fans. Especially when all this week everyone complained about San Diego and everyone said that San Diego was gonna fucking suck and SVG was just gonna beat everyone by 50 fucking seconds. And then SVG proceeds to not beat everybody by 50 seconds. Hell, SVG didn't even finish San Diego. Again, this is why, kids, you actually run the fucking races. Instead of jumping straight to conclusions like a bunch of fucking idiots. Maybe someday motorsports fans can stop being so fucking retarded, but I seriously have my doubts there. But yeah, it's a kind of a shame that now NASCAR fan stupidity has now poisoned the IndyCar fan base too. What a shame. But once Palou lost the lead, the race opened up pretty wide after that, as Rosenqvist would dominate for a good portion of it until he would lose the lead. And also, Christian Lundgaard would have quite a drive after getting lap 1 damage after running to the back of Scott Dixon and damaging his front wing. He would go all the way to the back, but throughout the race, Lundgaard would slowly work his way up through the field. And by the end of the race, it ended up being a 2-car battle for the win between Christian Lundgaard and David Malukas, as Malukas is still hunting for his first career win. Although Marcus Armstrong was trying to stretch it on fuel and make it to the end, until Marcus Armstrong's engine expired with 3 laps to go. But with how big Road America is, caution laps take forever, especially in IndyCar. It's not just a NASCAR thing that makes cautions at Road America long. It's also a thing in IndyCar. So NASCAR fans, you're no longer special with calling cautions at Road America. Honestly, there's nothing you can really do to fix it. That's just what happens when you race at a 4-mile road course. You know, that kind of deal when you race at a huge track. But with how long the cautions were, they were able to clean it back up to where we would get a one-lap shootout for the win between Lundgaard and Malukas. And Lundgaard would pull away, as really the main battle after that was just a battle for third between Will Power and Graham Rahal for the final podium spot. And although we had Nolan Siegel spin on the last lap, the caution would not come out. They let him continue to race. Well, until they got out of the S's there. And then Will Power decided to use his car as a weapon after getting roughed up by Graham Rahal. And Will Power decided to use his car as a weapon and left hook Graham Rahal straight into the wall, ending the race under caution. And Lundgaard was the leader when the caution came out, as the racing gods decide that this still isn't David Malukas' day. And Christian Lundgaard goes on and gets his second win of the season, winning at Road America under yellow. Because IndyCar doesn't do stupid green-white, gimmicky green-white checkered dog shit like NASCAR does. So, yeah. Because IndyCar actually ends the race at scheduled distance like a real motorsport. And let's get one thing abundantly clear. I don't like races ending under caution. But I don't cry about it like a little bitch like most NASCAR fans do nowadays. Because that's now the fucking culture we've now let the fan base poison into this community with now. That's what happens when you let so many fucking entertainment junkies into the motorsports community that had no business being in the first place. But I mean, hey, the race could have ended under green. All you had to do was tell Will Power not to use his fucking car as a weapon and wreck Rahal for no reason. And that was really for third. I mean, if it was the win, okay. But for third place in the final step on the podium, that's kind of fucking pathetic. It's kind of sad to see how far Will Power has fallen ever since leaving Penske to go to Andretti. Like, even when Power has his bright moments, he's still feeling the effects of racing an Andretti car. What a shame. But yeah, Lundgaard gets the win, and a pretty good comeback win after getting damage on lap 1 to his wing, and he would fight his way back from the back all the way to the win. Just a very gritty win for a Christian Lundgaard, and Palou was able to get a solid point stay still out of it, even despite even getting a little damage to his wing after some contact with Will Power battling for position. But yeah, IndyCar Road America concludes. But yeah, of course, some fans are probably going to bitch about the race ending on a yellow. It's like, well, tell Will Power and Graham Rahal not to wreck each other like a bunch of talented bitches next time. And maybe you would have had a green flag finish. That's racing. Sometimes you don't always get what you want. Too bad NASCAR fans don't have that mentality and feel like they're a bunch of entitled little pricks. And don't worry, I have a lot to say about NASCAR fans. We're just gonna save that for next week. Especially when NASCAR heads to Sonoma next week. And all I say is, NASCAR fans is, you better pray to God SVG wins next week. If not, I'm gonna unload on every last fucking one of you for Sonoma next week if SVG doesn't win. Because I already know a majority of this fan base is going to jump straight to the conclusion that SVG is going to win by 30 seconds next week. You know what the funniest part about San Diego is? I actually picked SVG to win this week. But I didn't pick him to win by 50 fucking seconds like some of these dumbasses in the community did. That's auto racing. Shit happens. But anyway, congrats to Lundgaard on the win, well deserved, but you gotta feel for David Malukas. Once again, just falls short. Just, man, what has Malukas got to do to get that win in IndyCar? Jesus Christ. Once again, just falls short. Don't worry, Malukas. Someday your day will come in IndyCar. Someday. Just not today in Road America. But anyway, I think that wraps up here. I think I said what needs to be said. And Palou continues to extend his lead in the championship. Anyway, that'll wrap it up here for the next Cut Race Recap. See you all next week for Sonoma next week. I'm out.